From the deep, cool waters of this wilderness lake, the mists of early morning rise to challenge the sunrise of a new day. A cheery fire is blazing and breakfast is in the making. This is the Quetico Superior Wilderness. Here along the Minnesota-Ontario border is the last great wilderness of its kind in the Middle West. If the wild, natural beauty of this area is to be preserved, every person who comes here must help to protect it and to keep it clean. These men carry few cans. However, they pick up those left by careless campers and burn them in the campfire. This burns the paper, removes the tinning, and destroys all food matter. When breaking camp, always leave a clean campsite and dry wood for those who follow. Every piece of equipment must be accounted for and carefully packed. Small bags are handy for small items and keep the pack sack orderly. Tent poles are stacked and left for the next campers. The final act of breaking camp, after all refuse has been picked up and burned, is putting out the campfire. The burned cans are removed for further disposal. Be positive that the fire is out. Use plenty of water. When traveling in unfamiliar wilderness country, it is absolutely necessary to have good maps and a reliable compass. Be certain that you understand both and use them. At all times, alertness, caution, and canoeing skill are required. A jagged rock can badly damage the canoe. Portage trails lead from lake to lake. A portage sign is a landmark and guide for you and those who follow. Don't destroy it. One man can easily shoulder the canoe, but with two, it's very simple. If necessary, the entire equipment of these two men could be portaged in one trip. However, this is a pleasure trip, not an endurance test, and they take it easy. If there's any question about physical fitness, it's important to check with your doctor before starting a canoe trip. Portages vary in length from a few feet to upwards of a mile. Some are as simple as walking down Main Street. Others are rugged and difficult. Sturdy boots or shoes with ground-gripping soles are a necessity for being sure-footed. Slips and falls resulting in injury can be dangerous in the wilderness. Always lower the canoe carefully to prevent dents and holes. Packs and equipment are placed together at one side of the portage trail. Other parties may be using the portage at the same time, and this avoids confusion of equipment. This is a pup of the common coyote or brush wolf, and it is not lost. The wary and anxious mother is probably watching every move. Very few young animals found in the wild are lost. Leave them where their own mothers can take care of them. Never drag a canoe on the ground, over rocks, or on the beach. Carry and launch it as simply as this. One man always holds the canoe to steady it away from the rocks, while the other loads equipment and gets in. Canoeing safety practices should be observed at all times. Carelessness may lose equipment or cause injury and hardship. Wilderness canoe trips are not for the foolhardy. Proper equipment and wilderness know-how are primary necessities. If you're in doubt about equipment or where to go, be sure to obtain proper information from those who know the country. The wilderness is for those who seek the beauty of unspoiled nature, to live and to let live, so that their presence will neither mar nor destroy anything. For unknown centuries, this area was visited by Indians whose exact identity is now lost in the prehistoric past. However, in a few places, their presence was indicated by paintings on the rocks. The paints used to make these pictographs were various mixtures of iron oxides and fish oil. No one knows for sure their age or their meaning. Following ancient Indian trails, the first white men explored this area almost 300 years ago. They discovered a wilderness teeming with fur bearers. Then, for nearly 200 years, fur traders, Indians, and the voyageurs brought out fortunes in furs. This was the voyageurs' highway. Thousands of adventurers, explorers, soldiers, and missionaries followed this, the only route into the wilderness. This colorful period of history ended over 100 years ago. Now these modern voyageurs follow the same ancient waterways and portages, stopping at the old campsites, reliving and rediscovering the fabulous story of the wilderness. Beaver are common throughout the Quetico Superior. Fresh beaver cuttings in the vicinity of a house usually indicate that the house is active, and a little cautious waiting and watching may result in seeing a live beaver. A small fire, a hot drink, and simple foods make the midday lunch. This saves a lot of unpacking and work and affords time for rest and relaxation. The red squirrel is a familiar sight in the northern wilderness. This Quetico Superior Wilderness country is the only one of its kind. The pilot of the Forest Fire Patrol plane sees it as a beautiful region of lakes and streams, forests and rocks. Man's misdoings and fire are the ever-present dangers that can destroy it. If you smoke, be careful. break the match in two. This brings the fingers into contact with the burned end, and you know it's out. When you finish smoking, place the burning tobacco material on bare rock and be sure it's dead out. There is still that noon campfire. Take a stick and stir the water into the ashes. The persons who left this campfire did not put it out. A beautiful campsite and the surrounding forest were destroyed. The protection and preservation of this wilderness country depends upon the people using it. At certain seasons, mosquitoes and other insects can cause much annoyance if you're not equipped with repellents and netting. Good canoe handling requires know-how. When approaching shore, ease in parallel to the landing place. Then, with the canoe floating free in the water, carefully step out. Never ram the bow up onto the shore. When leaving the canoe, even for a few minutes, it's always safest to carry it completely out of the water. Exploring the country around the lakes is one of the big adventures of being in the wilderness. Everything takes on a new perspective, and many interesting things may be seen. Just be sure that you know where you left the canoe. A camera is the only shooting equipment needed for canoe trips. Guns are illegal in many places, and there is no need for them. They only add to the weight of the outfit. Leave all firearms at home. White-tailed deer are found throughout the area. They are very alert, and getting a good look may require careful stalking. Once in a while, something really out of the ordinary is found. This is a set of antlers from a buck deer, probably shed the previous winter. To find even one antler is uncommon because antlers are high in calcium content, and small mammals such as mice, squirrels, and porcupines gnaw them away in short order. To find two, apparently from the same deer, is rare, and to find them so close together is still more rare, as they are generally shed one at a time. As the day wears on, it may get pretty warm, and there's nothing like a brisk swim. Here again, the swimming must be done within the limits of good common sense and safety. mid-afternoon, it's a good idea to start looking for a night campsite. That allows plenty of time to set up a good camp, to play a little, eat supper, and get set for the night. Even experienced woodsmen use life jackets when there is need for caution. Before entering this quiet bay, a stretch of choppy water had to be crossed, and they played it safe. This is the wilderness, and your survival depends upon you alone. Be sure to pick a well-drained spot for your tent. Most of this country is rocky. You can't always ditch the tent and drive stakes. The lightweight tent is put up with poles and tied to trees and rocks. Additional rocks will reinforce this one. There are several types of wilderness tents. This is a modified Baker tent and very satisfactory. A full mosquito netting is fastened into the front. A sturdy, waterproof ground cloth is a necessity for wilderness camping. Getting up a supply of wood is the next job. The axe is sharp and protected by a sheath. Carry it safely and use it properly. Never cut green wood for fuel. Use dead, dry wood. The wilderness is full of it. Dry aspen, commonly called popple, is one of the better campfire woods that can be easily obtained. It gives a quick, hot fire with a minimum of smoke. The other man gets water. The cleanest water is usually out some distance from shore. Most water in remote wilderness areas is clean and pure enough to drink. However, as more and more thoughtless people pollute the lakes and streams, the problem arises as to just what waters are safe to drink. If there is any doubt about the purity of water, it should be boiled. A bucksaw is more efficient than an axe for cutting up firewood. This folding model is compact, light, and sturdy. Keen, well-made axes, knives, and saws are necessary to wilderness living. Pride should be taken in the care and proper use of these tools. Here is an example of tragic misuse. These birches were defaced by ignorant and thoughtless persons. No thinking person would willfully destroy a government sign that was put up for the guidance and protection of the public. Nature made the Quetico Superior a clean and beautiful country. Interesting rock formations, cool, sparkling streams with waterfalls, cascades, and rapids. Some years, blueberries may be found in great abundance, a food delicacy made to order for campers. During early summer, the forest floor in some places may be brightened with orchids. The most common is the stemless lady slipper. Much rarer is the showy lady slipper. The yellow warbler is one of many species of birds found here. Here is truly an area to cherish and protect. Now that wood, water, and shelter are ready, there is time for other activities. No campfire has been lighted. Whenever you leave camp, even for a short period, do not leave a burning fire. Fishing for walleyed pike is lots of fun. However, it's only part of a wilderness trip. The true sportsman is a sincere conservationist. He fishes for sport and takes only what he can use. The violator and the game hog have no place in modern conservation. Good material for starting a fire can be obtained from old pine stumps. This is commonly called pitch pine. The wood has a high resin content and burns vigorously. Plenty of regular stick matches carried in waterproof containers are a must item. Safety and book matches are not recommended. The pitch pine alone is enough to start the fire, but there is nothing wrong with using leaves or pine needles to provide instant fuel. Most camp foods are carried in bags that are tough, waterproof, and labeled. These are easy to pack and prevent breakage and spilling. Modern bread, cake, pastry, and cookie mixes simplify camp cooking. This is a reflector oven. Just about any kind of food can be baked or cooked in it. One of the old standbys in wilderness cooking is biscuits. The shiny inner surfaces of the oven reflect the heat of the fire both upward and downward onto the biscuit pan. No matter how you pack, it seems the thing you want is always at the bottom. Every wilderness trip should include certain important items of equipment: an insect bomb, properly equipped first aid kit, personal toilet kit for each man, a sturdy flashlight, and a small coil of strong rope. The expert camper relies on a time-tested checklist of all essential equipment. A change of socks and moccasins rest the feet from heavier footwear. And it's a rare camping trip that does not include some rainy weather. Be sure to take durable, waterproof rain gear. Hot water, soap, a dish mop, and a copper pot cleaner make dishwashing simple. A good camper is a clean camper. Hot water left from supper can be used for shaving. Our friend is blowing up an air mattress, just a little tough after a full meal. An air mattress makes sleeping on the ground a pleasure. These balsam bough beds have been left to become an unsightly mess and a fire hazard. The bed of boughs has long been associated with wilderness sleeping. Now, however, with many people penetrating all remaining wilderness areas, the cutting of boughs for beds must be stopped. Thousands of beautiful campsites are being scarred and ruined. Those who caused this destruction not only cut boughs, but destroyed the entire tree. Use an air mattress. They are quicker and more comfortable. Just the right amount of air is necessary for best comfort. And with a down sleeping bag, you're set for the night. As the sun sets in the western sky, darkness enhances the warmth and drama of the fire, inspiring quiet talk and meditation. Comfortable and safe, they have desecrated nothing. Only the cold, wet ashes of campfires mark their trail. This wilderness day will live in their memories forever.